Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Valhalla Club. I'll be your bartender for the afternoon. We're day drinking today, fellas. I've got Luke down in Pueblo. We're going to be doing a special Road to War episode leading up to the IlClan Blood Name Trials event being held down at his store next month. So to start it off, Luke, thanks for joining us today. Give us a quick background on who you are, what's your favorite faction, and what's your favorite mech?
Sure. Like you said, my name's Luke. I'm with Game Night Games in Pueblo, Colorado. Just a little bit down the highway from Colorado Springs. As far as favorite faction, I'm a mercenary at heart, but I've been a fan of Wolf's Dragoon since I was a kid back in the 80s. So that's what we're doing. And favorite mech, honestly, if I had to pick one, it would be a Marauder 2. Just think they look mean and work pretty well.
Yeah, the new Marauder 2s definitely look rather badass. Sweet. All right, so let's just diving into it. Just a real quick overview. Where and when is this event going to be held?
So the event is going to be held on June 17th, starting at 1 p.m. at Game Night Games in Pueblo. We're at 1839 South Pueblo Boulevard in a shopping center there, the Regency Shopping Center for anybody who's familiar. Should be some fun. We're going to be doing Alpha Strike instead of Classic, which I know some people might be a little disappointed with, but for what we've got planned, I think it'll work out better.
All right. So for this event, it's a blood name trials. So covering real quick, in from a lore perspective, for any of those that don't know, because I know we got a lot of new players, and there's a fair amount of players that also haven't read, either don't read or just haven't taken the deep dive into the ocean that is BattleTech lore. Do you want to start us off on just a quick background on like what a blood name trial is?
I can. For those that aren't familiar with how the clans work, you have to earn your last name through combat against other people from your kind of, we'll call it a family, even though they don't believe in those. And that's kind of how you ensure that your genes get passed on to the next generation. And the last name is called a blood name. And like everything else the clans do, you have to trial to win it. So, blood name trial.
So yeah, I've got a Trial of Bloodright. And I think the first time it comes up that I think most people read it is in the Blood of Kerensky trilogy by Michael Stackpole. When after Felonkel, is it Felon or Phelan? I hear both. I say Felon.
I've always heard it was Phelan.
Yeah, pronunciations. We'll just do this forever.
Sure.
No, but so
that Kel guy.
yeah, so Felonkel, as I call him, is taken as a bondsman. He becomes Felon Wolf. He doesn't, which isn't really a last name. And then let's see.
Right, because if you're a clan warrior and you don't have a blood name, then they just call you by whatever the clan name is.
Yeah, you're just your first name.
Right.
And then they go. There's the Trial of Bloodrights, where you Trial of Bloodright.
Okay.
Where you can be sponsored by a blood named individual to compete, essentially, in order to get a blood name. Those that aren't sponsored can compete in a grand melee, and the last one standing may compete in the overall Trial of Bloodright without a sponsor. And the first time I read about a grand melee was in the Jade Phoenix trilogy.
Right. I believe doesn't Aiden Pride have to, or just Aiden Jade Falcon at the time, have to compete in one?
Right. Yep. So both really good trilogies. Everyone should go read some lore.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. The way so after a grand melee, once you're in the actual Trial of Bloodright and you're doing one-on-one battles, um, the Lord Master will take each candidates because they're kind of like candidates essentially like a coin or like a medallion,
Right.
put it into drop it into the like a funnel and it'll spin around kind of like the
Yeah,
coin funnel from like Walmart in 1992.
exactly.
It'll spin around. The coin that drops in first is the hunter,
I think
or is
that's
it
right.
and then the last coin is the hunted.
Right. And the hunter gets to pick how they fight,
Yep, hunter
and
can
the
pick.
hunted gets to pick where they fight.
Yeah, so that's a really quick overview on
Right.
Trial of Bloodrights and Grand Melee. Grand Melee will have, what is it, like 50 warriors or
Yeah.
so? And it's
Yeah,
just
I
a
think so.
massive free for all.
Yep. Clan honor is out the window.
Yeah, because it's a melee to start, so there is no Zell Brigand. Um, yeah, so that's a super quick overview of
Yeah.
Grand Melee and a Trial of Bloodright.
If you
Um,
want to know more, read like you said, read the Blood of Kerensky trilogy. It's
Blood
all in
of
there.
yep, Blood of Kerensky, and then the Jade Phoenix trilogy, 100%. Good reads, 100%.
Yes.
And okay, so that's the quick lore overview of how we're tying this event into a lore perspective. We
Right.
are doing this, or you're having this in the IlClan era, right?
Correct. When I was thinking about how to tie in the event to the lore, I figured, well, uh, Catalyst is pushing everything into the IlClan era, and with the battle for Terra and the way that came about, and the aftermath of that, it seemed like a good way to modify how the Trial of Bloodright works to uh, work out for the number of players we would have and make things a little more easy and streamlined for that 1 day event.
Right on. So which blood names are up for taking?
Well, since there's 3 clans that are part of is it the Resurrected Star League, I think, because they don't really acknowledge the second Star League.
Yeah, I think they're
Um,
just calling it like just Star League, IlClan era Star League. I don't know.
yeah. So we've got the IlClan, Clan Wolf, and what the way we determine which names is we let all the players in Colorado vote on which last name they would want if they were competing for one in the clan. So of course, Kerensky won for Clan Wolf. For the Jade Falcons that are part of the Star League, last name of Pride won. And then most people may not know this, but Clan Smoke Jaguar is actually back and part of the new Star League, and they voted on the last name of Howell for that one.
Back from the ashes. Uh,
Absolutely,
so
their
these,
faith has been rewarded.
right? Good job, Paul Moon. You kept them alive just long enough.
um,
um, and get
and
after
just
the. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, for those that are interested about how those clans became part of the Star League and everything, you can read either Hour of the Wolf, the novel, which is the action-packed version of the Battle for Terra, or you can pick up the IlClan source book, which those are for the people that like all the combat movement diagrams and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the IlClan source book was pretty cool. I liked how they put like the maps on there with um, showing movements and how they were moving. It looks like they structured it a lot after like if you see a map with like uh, World War II, Axis allies, lines of advancement, and all that other stuff, they did it the exact same way for the IlClan source book, and that
Yep,
was pretty cool. Because I'm a nerd.
right.
But so that's the 3 factions currently, or at least as of like that IlClan source book, in the Star League. And for those that probably haven't read but can assume, um, Both Jade Falcon and Wolf are extreme. Like a lot of people died. Like a lot of people
Oh yeah,
died, to
I think they
include their
said
blood
that.
name warriors.
Yeah, I think Jade Falcon's down to like 50 or 75 warriors total for the entire clan that went to Terra.
Yeah, less than a modern military company size element.
Right.
Like it's
Like,
two platoons in real life. Like, come on.
yeah, or in clan terms, it would be like one cluster.
Yeah, and of course that's not counting what they left in the occupation zone. They don't count.
Right. Yeah.
And then so a lot of people died. They have a myriad of openings for in the bloodhouses, and since uh, smoke jags are back, well, they have zero. So
Correct.
they need to completely reestablish their blood name warriors from
Right.
the get go. So that's how we're tying the event into current lore, and I think that's badass.
Absolutely.
Um, so do you want to talk about some of the specifics? How's this going down?
So like I said, to streamline the event, instead of doing the grand melee and then everybody basically doing a bracket fight to see who ends up with the blood name, we are gonna start off with a grand melee um, for the first round, and it's gonna be Alpha Strike, like I've said, instead of Classic, just because it goes a lot quicker, um, and you can get everybody around one table, and you don't have to sit there and count hexes. Um, so when the players show up, they'll have to have picked which clan they want to compete for. And then at the end of the Grand Melee, the last two standing members from whichever each of the three clans will compete in a one-on-one in a second round to see who actually claims the blood name. And
I
then
should.
go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just I should have the event doc open already, and I don't.
That's okay. I've got it right in front of me. So um, those who don't make the one-on-one fight battles, I guess you could say, we're going to do a second grand melee. But for that one, we decided to up the ante or make it a little more interesting and make it a clan as Sorla rules. So if you kill somebody else's miniature, you get to keep it. To kind of facilitate that, everybody who comes in to play that day, we've got enough of the Clan Invasion salvage boxes that everybody who shows up will get two to use in that you kill it, you keep it second round if they want. Nobody's required to, but it's fun. I've played those kind of games at the local cons here in the past. And yeah, it's a good time.
All right, and so for at least the first round, I'm seeing a maximum point value of 55 PV, including skill adjustments.
Right. And then skills are limited to skill 2, 3, or 4. I did a lot of research on the master unit list and those three lists, and that seemed like a pretty fair points level and skill level. So you don't have people showing up in mechs with really light mechs, really low point value at 0 skill, or people in super heavies maybe coming in at skill 6 or 7.
Talking
So
about you, Dave.
um, and yeah, so that still leaves a whole lot of mechs to choose from the three different faction lists on the master unit list. And then we did do a few restrictions on special abilities again to try and keep it. I guess even the playing field is what we're going for, because there's
and keep a fun factor.
exactly, if we've gotten brand new players who've never played before and they're going up against guys who've played all kinds of WolfNet 350 games and maybe won some championships, that's a totally different skill level. And like I said, tried to level that playing field and make it fun for everybody.
I like it, and cap of 55, including skill adjustments. That does seem like a nice sweet spot.
Mhm.
Once you put the event doc out, everyone was immediately diving in, trying to find the best way, and like, oh well,
Right.
just comparing like this medium with maybe a lower skill versus
Right.
this heavy with maybe a slightly worse skill,
Hmm.
trying to balance it all out, which makes a lot of fun. Everyone likes diving into the MUL for hours on end.
Right. Well, and
And
there's a lot of
turning their brain to mush.
and there's a lot of mechs out there that you like. Oh, that's a nice point value, and then you go look at the special abilities and like, well, but I'm paying for like indirect fire, but I'm not going to have a spotter, or I'm paying for the LRM or SRM specials, but there's no alternate ammunition. So, do you really want to take that mech, or do you want to find one that's a little more tailored to like a one-on-one battle?
Right. I didn't see it in here. I was curious. What size battlefield are we looking at for this Grand Melee?
So for the Grand Melee, it's going to be a 4x4 foot battlefield. And then for the individual battles in the second round, there'll be a 3x4 playing from the short edges, so a little closer to the Wolfnet format.
Nice. And for the Grand Melee, it'll be all players that show up on the board at the same time. Free for
Correct.
all.
Absolutely. We're going to actually use the BattleTech Initiative deck for the Grand Melee because it does have a setup in there for how to do that. And it's got technically five different suits of cards, so you could probably go up to about 30 players using that.
Yeah, I've got the initiative deck. I've never used it. I've taken it out. I've looked at it. I read the little rule book,
Mm.
and then I put it back, and I
Yep.
haven't played with it yet. And I want to. The
Yeah, I haven't used the actual BattleTech Initiative deck, but I've gone to Genghis Khan and Tacticon for years, and I don't know, probably 8-9 years ago, there used to be all free for all games of Classic like that, where we would use just a regular deck of cards as the initiative deck. So I've done it before, just not with the one with the pretty BattleTech pictures.
yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the actual BattleTech initiative deck also has like environmental effects and like the effects for like one turn that'll give. So like if you draw a low initiative card, it'll give you
Mm-hmm.
a kind of buff to outweigh it, like maybe like a one reroll or something like that. Um,
Right.
I don't know. Probably won't be using any of like the effects from the card for the Grand Melee because
No, no,
some of
no,
them probably yeah,
no plan to because they're tailored for Classic play instead of Alpha Strike.
and they can be pretty swingy.
Yeah, they're definitely much more of a fun scenario kind of thing.
Yeah, that would kind of negate the whole, you know, clan free for all vibe. Literally me versus you.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they're tailored more towards a one-on-one game of Classic, where if you and I were playing, we'd both bring a lance or a star and pick a suit and go from there.
All right, let's see. Um, is painting required?
Painting is not required, but it is highly encouraged. Everybody likes to see pretty miniatures on the table. Makes for better pictures. Personally, I think it makes for a better game because you can kind of get into the mood and the feel of the universe. But some people don't like to paint. Some people have never painted, so it's not required.
Some people are brand new and haven't had a chance.
Exactly. And since we're doing the second round, is you open up a blind salvage box and put it on the table. You aren't going to have time to paint that.
Fact. All right. Let's see. Proxies for at least the initial. What are we
Right.
looking at for proxies?
Well, we want to encourage people to support Catalyst, but there's lots of mechs in the master unit list that either don't have miniatures or only have metal miniatures. So while we prefer the Catalyst plastics, proxies are okay as long as whatever mech is being proxied is the same size class as the one you're putting on the table. So, if you're proxying for like a medium size mech or what would be size 2 in Alpha Strike, then whichever mech you're using as a proxy should be the same weight class or size class.
That makes complete sense.
So that, you aren't saying, hey, this is my Locust, and you're putting Poseidon on the table or something.
Yeah, that would be confusing. All right, so let's see. Everyone, I think 90% of people play with multiple attack rolls, and it looks like that's what we'll be using for this
Right.
one. But I do see here at the bottom of the document, um, all entrants will receive a token that can be turned
Hmm.
in. So that'll be kind of like your medallion type thing.
Kind of. We'll probably end up using like a poker chip, so they won't be decorated or anything. But that's what we've got that we use for tokens. I wasn't sure what we were going to use, but it'll probably be a poker chip. And then during the grand melee, you can turn in that chip for those are familiar with like Destiny. It would be like a point of edge, but they don't have that in Alpha Strike technically. So you can either use it as a lucky roll, which lets you re-roll your entire attack, or a float like a butterfly, which makes your opponent re-roll their entire attack.
I haven't played with. I've played with Lucky, but I haven't played any games with Float Like a Butterfly yet. Does is
Right.
that able to be used similar to Edge, where you can force them to re-roll on the crit table?
Um, I'm going to have to double check on that. I was not that prepared. I believe it's the opposite of Lucky, where Lucky lets you re-roll your attack. If like you roll and you get, a natural crit or whatever, I can go, I'm going to use my float like a butterfly, re-roll that whole
Gotcha.
attack.
Yeah, because I know Edge is like you can re-roll either your roll, force your opponent to re-roll their attack roll, or
Hmm.
re-roll on the crit. So like if they rolled a crit, you get on the head, you could sit and like blow off the arm instead or something. I don't know. So that's how Edge works, and
Right.
these are
And
slightly different.
they are. They're the Alpha Strike version instead of the classic Edge. But it seemed like since we're not allowing special pilot abilities, it seemed like a fun way to kind of give somebody a one redo for the entire game.
I like it. It makes sense. And it adds like some extra flair and fluff to
Yeah.
the
The
to the game.
the whole goal was to make this fun and immersive in the current IlClan setting and allow everybody to come down and have a good time and get some BattleTech stuff and meet people maybe they haven't met before and
And
roll some dice.
everything. So there's no cost to play in the event, due to the support we have from our local community, um, contributing to the Colorado BattleTech Patreon. We're using funds from that to cover the entry fee and the um, blind boxes, salvage boxes. So
Right.
there should be no cost to anybody. Come on down and play. And that's the whole reason we have the Patreon, so that we can host games like this free of charge. That way, everyone's got the least amount of excuses to not come out and play. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yep.
come on out and play, no cost. Um, Again, prize support made available, possible by the patrons from within our community, and that's awesome.
Yep.
Um,
I did take a moment to look up the float like a butterfly, and you were right. You can use it to either reroll your opponent, make your opponent reroll their attack roll or their critical hit roll, one or the other.
Ooh, very nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Any other like prize support type stuff? What?
We have had one of our local players print up some medallions for the winners of the blood names. So whoever actually claims a name is going to get about a 3 or 4 inch medallion with the clan logo on one side and the last name and the date of the event on the back side.
Medallions are cool. Matt had some made out of like I think they were like laser etched for Copo last year.
Yeah.
And they're super cool. I've got them hanging up. So get your blood name medallions. Come compete.
Right.
I think in the server we'll create like a blood name roll or something. I don't think. I mean,
That'd be
we can
cool.
do that.
Well, and since this is in June and Tacticon's coming up at the end of August, you could always wear your blood name medallion to those events at Tacticon too.
Yep, and then you can challenge people, and then make sure you bring like your paracord and make some bonds cords, so that when you just defeat everybody, you can make them your bondsmen and start building your own army.
Right. I think didn't we do something like that last year where somebody had to give up their clan and start making Davion lists for a while?
Ooh, shots fired at John. Ha. Yeah, Ben and John challenged each other. John lost.
Mhm.
So he had to play Davian for a full year.
Yeah. How far along is he on that?
Um, not halfway yet. 'Cause it's almost halfway because it was in December. So
Okay. Yeah.
it's almost halfway. But yeah, have
Yep.
fun with
That's
it.
one of the absolutely. That's one of the great things about BattleTech and Alpha Strike is that there's so much out there you can do with it. There's so many different ways to enjoy it that if you're not having fun, you should be.
Fact. Okay. Am I missing anything? Oh, didn't you mention something about a bottle?
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that. So my beautiful and supportive wife actually owns a wine and spirit store down here in Pueblo, and I thought about seeing if I could convince her to donate a bottle of scotch or bourbon, like a local Colorado distillery, kind of maybe. Last time I asked her about it, she said yes, but that was a few weeks ago, so we obviously both forgot. But yeah, I could make that happen too.
Supporting the Colorado alcohol community and BattleTech community.
I
This is
figured, if I throw in
two
a
for one event.
Colorado bourbon, then bourbon might actually show up.
And the challenge and the call is out, Ben. You got to come down now. All right. Any final remarks?
The only other thing is we did get some custom game store D6s made, and we're planning on providing a pair to everybody who shows up to play that day also. So if you like special dice or custom dice, we got those too.
I
And
think we all collect dice at this point.
yeah, especially when you're doing multiple attack rolls or playing classic, it's nice to have different pairs so you don't have to roll one pair over and over and over and over. And then we've got a pretty decent stock of BattleTech product at the store. Right now, we've got at least one of everything that we can get from the distributor. So, some of the newer packs that have come out aren't available yet, like the Alpha Strike token pack and the Swords of Regulars. And then we can't get the campaign ops or the direct fire lands. For some reason, everybody wants those Atlases and Marauder 2s. But we've got everything else in stock. So plenty of opportunities to stock up.
Yeah. Last time you shared a picture, I was like, "Holy crap! You guys got like all the battle mats."
Actually, we do.
Oh.
We've got all of the Alien Worlds and all of the Tukeyed mats. We've got one of the Stranomecti mats, and I think we're down to 3 of the 4 standard grasslands with the alternate background landscapes on the back mats still. So we've got battle mats, we've got all the map packs, we've got all of the new IlClan era source books, we've got all of the regular BattleTech rule books for the most part, all the lance packs, even elementals. So, yeah.
And the elementals, if you don't want that many stands of elementals, I've seen it done, and they look awesome. You take take the elementals off the base, and then put them on bases or on the shoulders of some other mechs, and have them jump posed in jumping scenes and whatnot.
Yeah, I've seen
It
those
looks
too
cool.
on BattleTech painting and customs and stuff on Facebook. So,
But yeah, so come on out to Pueblo, have a great time. I'll be coming down. I'm thinking I'm at 90% probability that I'll be down, and I'll probably be bringing the kiddo. He's been wanting to play.
awesome. Yeah, it's we've got a decent setup. We've got 3 or 4 tables already reserved at the store out of the 10 or 11 on the game side. And last time I checked, I think we're even going to do 10% off all BattleTech product that day. So lots of encouragement to show up, lots of reasons to come have fun.
Absolutely. Come hang out, shoot some mechs, get you a blood name. Buy some
Steal somebody
stuff.
else's ride.
Steal somebody else's ride. Buy some stuff that you haven't been able to see in stock anywhere else at a discount.
Mhm.
And win a bottle. You know,
And win a bottle.
win a bottle. I'm about it. All right. Well, I think that closes us out.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. And
yeah, thanks for joining, Luke, and giving us the deets on the battle.
absolutely.
See everybody on June 17th, 1 p.m. 1300 for the military folk. All right. Well, everyone, have a great day. And
You too.
see you there.
All right. Have a good one.
Last call. Thanks for joining us today in the Valhalla Club. Special thanks to our sponsor, Ares Games and Miniatures. Ares is the premier online retailer for all your Battletech needs. You can contact us at thevalhallaclub@outlook.com. If you are in Colorado, please join your local community group on Facebook and Discord. If you are able to help support your local Colorado Battletech community, subscribe on Patreon to Colorado Battletech. This Patreon account is used to supply prize support for local events and assist in venue costs. Links for the Valhalla Club Discord, the Colorado Battletech Patreon, and Facebook group are in the show notes. Until next time, mech fans.